Squiddy is from DC 574 in South Bend, Indiana. Squiddy is presenting Who Cashed My Check? Catching Very Obvious Fraudsters. This should be really interesting. When fraudsters target a small business, we do what we can to help. Go on a quick OSINT adventure with Squiddy and learn about the simple steps taken to connect the dots and locate small time criminals with a history of forgery. I'm very interested to hear about this because there was an incident where somebody compromised my credit card account, and I actually tracked them down, found out where they lived, had a picture of their house, had all the information, gave it to the police, and they didn't do anything with it. It was very frustrating. Um, Squiddy is founder of DC 574, is a transmasculine and lesbian hacker, desktop engineer, and small business owner from the cornfields of the Midwest. They joined the hacker scene in 2017 as an OSINT newbie and founded DEF CON 574. Now merged with Michigan InfoSec in 2019 as a student organization at Indiana University since 2017. I believe your your meetings are held on campus, right? Um, since 2017, they've given presentations at local tech meetups and at DEF CON covering various topics from medical information systems to gender inclusivity and open source intelligence. So I'd like to welcome Squiddy to the stage once again and take it away, Squiddy.
This look good to everyone?
Affirmative.
Yeah, that looks great. Just to remind anybody, if they can't quite see the slides, if you click on them, you can zoom in. And if you want to zoom out, you click to the left or right of the slide in the frame, and it'll zoom back out. It's all yours.
So hello, welcome to my talk. Who cashed my check? The theme for DEF CON this year is engage. And that means to engage with your community, make helpful contributions, and create a supportive space. What I really want to do with this talk is share a story of how I was able to make a difference in my own community by making it a little bit safer in more than one regard. Ooh, sorry, give me a second. Had to run up here. So by sharing the story, my goal is to encourage others to work on their community and give what they can and really do the same. Look for areas where you can make a difference and help out, no matter how small you think that role is. You're going to be making an intentional and meaningful contribution, and it will make a difference in somebody's life. So, who am I? I am an OSINT enthusiast, hacker, internet yapper, and former pandemic healthcare worker. Currently, I work as a desktop engineer for a major hospital, and I run my own little tech repair shop on the side for the local community in Champaign, Illinois. I did found DC 574 in 2019 when I was in undergrad at South Bend, and then merged it with Michiana InfoSec in 2021. I still kind of hang around, but right now I'm located in Champaign, and I'm currently a graduate student as well. This is my third time speaking at DCGVR, and I was honored to be invited back to speak this year. The people who run DCGVR are fantastic, and they really go out of their way to give the virtual space the same magic as the in-person DEF CON. It's really very special to be able to virtually step into this space each year in one way or another. And if you hear me huffing and puffing, it's because I'm currently in Vegas and might have a touch of the con crud. So forgive me for that. So a little bit of background and self-promotion here. The business I currently run is called Squideye, and it was formed in February of this year. I founded the shop because a lot of the people in my life brought me their tech woes and asked for help. They were afraid of being cheated or overcharged, or told that nothing could be done to help them. My clients are predominantly women, queer people, and individuals who are looking for an affordable service and who would not have any other options to repair their devices. In other words, I primarily aim to serve a marginalized population and to be affordable and accessible to my community. Squideye also functions as a sober, queer-friendly space and mini maker space because I and others in the community really feel like there aren't enough queer safe spaces outside of bars. I rent shop space at Bird Eater, which is a local queer art studio and hair salon that is run by my friend Zed Boats, aka Bird Eater. The studio is intentionally crafted with neurodivergent people in mind and is sensory friendly. Zed cuts and colors hair in low lighting with fidgets and snacks, and even occasionally makes trips out to people's houses to accommodate their needs. They're amazing at vibrant colors, alt styles, and the gayest haircuts you can imagine. And they're also a very talented mixed media artist. So the business is more than just a simple repair shop tucked away in a corner. Zed cuts my hair and sends me clients, and in return, I provide internet and sometimes catch things on fire, which unfortunately is not a joke and has happened frequently enough that my wife has now purchased a fire extinguisher just for my shop space. But it's all good because I'm able to help people, and that's really the goal, and that's what I tell myself. And I find that because of my OSINT background and willingness to try fixing just about anything, clients bring me all sorts of tasks, problems, and questions. I've been shocked more times than I can count, grabbed a live wire and had my hair, eyelashes included, burnt off, accidentally set fire to many things in the shop, been covered in broken glass, and have been nebulized after inhaling a fair bit of spray paint during an art escapade at 2 a.m. Doctor was not amused, but did encourage me to keep creating, so kudos. I've been asked to fix phones, collaborate on art projects, toasters, plush toys, vacuums. It's all ended up in my shop, design websites. I've been asked to locate pedophiles with active arrest warrants and catch scammers. And that last request is the request that I'll be talking about today. I've worked on a handful of jobs before Squid Eye's official open date, and I received some very positive reviews. And in April of this year, I received an interesting request from another local small business owner in town whose business had been targeted by some small time criminals, and she wanted my help in determining who the frauds were. It all started when this business owner, we're going to call her Natalie, received communication from her electric company that her business was facing possible disconnection due to her last payment not being received, despite Natalie attempting to pay her electric company via the bank's mobile app. Natalie called the bank. The bank informed her that they had received electronic communication from the power company that electronic payments were no longer being accepted, and that they were told to send a check by mail, so the bank sent out a check. When the electric company did not receive the check, the business had its power cut, and Natalie, not wanting to experience a negative setback or dip in revenue, acted fast to correct the issue and authorized another payment to the electric company over the phone. She assumed that the check that was already sent out would reach the company at a later date and would be applied as credit to the business account for their next bill. However, she received another notification about an upcoming payment the following month. Turns out the check was never received by the electric company and no credit was posted to the business account. But the check was cashed. So who cashed it? We needed to act fast and figure out the answer to that question. Natalie had just found a new location for her business and invested quite a bit of funds into making it an amazing space. The business could struggle with another loss so soon if it turned out that she was not targeted by chance and was instead set up to be a continued target. She could be re-victimized, and the individuals involved could move states, change their names, or otherwise attempt to evade detection and law enforcement, and this would leave them free to target other business owners. So within about 48 hours, we had to determine who exactly was involved, where they were located, and how they were connected. Within that same time frame, I had to compile information on the suspects and assist in drafting a police report in a way that made things obvious and easy to understand for law enforcement. Time was ticking. I had a few questions to ask myself to determine what I was dealing with. Was Natalie's information gotten from phishing or social engineering tactics? Or is there an internal bad actor at the bank feeding information to these criminals? Would this be a case of check washing or counterfeiting? Who are the people involved in the crime? How many people might be involved in the crime? First, phishing, of course, is not a new social engineering tactic. We know this. A lot of companies fall prey to phishing, but most train their employees against phishing attacks. It's pretty well known now, and it's very possible that a phishing attack fooled a bank employee. It could also be an insider working at the bank who used an email from the electric company as an excuse to cover up for knowingly creating the counterfeit check, right? So we couldn't be certain. We were never provided with proof of the electronic communication from the electric company that was supposedly sent to the bank. But another employee at the bank confirmed that there was a note in the business owner's account regarding the electronic communication received. Was phishing involved? Or was a letter from the electric company just a cover-up story, maybe crafted by a malicious bank employee? So we determined that this wasn't a case of check washing. According to the bank, checks that are authorized through the bank's app are sent from a location in Evanston, Indiana. If the check was originally addressed to the Electron Company, it would have taken a different route. It would have been en route from Evanston to the company's office in Chicago. But the check was addressed to an individual in Rantoul and cashed in Danville. It would be unusual for a check originally from Evanston, Indiana, en route to Chicago, Illinois, which is a northwest route, right, to be intercepted in Rantoul, which is located further southwest. It would require a diversion from the original route, and a detour would add a lot of time. More importantly, though, and the biggest reason we knew that this wasn't the case was the check was intentionally and originally made out to an individual, not the electric company. And this was apparent on the copy of the check that was included in the business owner's account history. Therefore, we concluded that we were looking at a case of just counterfeit. The next step was so easy, it barely took any OSINT at all on my end. It was not a bright crime committed. I knew that a counterfeit check was created and sent by an unknown bank employee, not to the electric company, but to an individual determined to be located in Rantoul because we had access to the check that was created. And this individual later signed it over to someone else in Danville to be cashed. These individuals used their full legal names, and a copy of the check was saved so we could see who they were. All it took was a quick people search engine that led us straight to their personal information, social media profiles under abbreviated names, and current addresses. The individuals involved were even friends on social media, so it kind of tied everything together with us. The main suspect had a long criminal history with public court records dating as far back as 1993 to as recent as 2022, revealing that the man is an armed habitual criminal. His crimes included a history of domestic abuse, assault, burglary, theft, counterfeiting, possession of meth, and previous counts of forgery and fraud. He's even been featured in the local news more than once for forgery and fraud. He just keeps getting let off easy, much to everyone's frustration by now. The main criminal involved had a mutual friend with the business owner on social media. And suspect number two, who cashed the check, was social media friends with an employee at the business owner's bank. So that's where weaving the web of connections comes in handy. We think we know who's involved, but while the business owner is now aware of the mutual friends and their connections to suspects, there's no telling who exactly was involved, other than the two individuals who physically handled the check and whose names we had. Unless the bank decided to conduct an internal investigation, we won't know what employee was involved in this process, or why or how, or if there was a personal agenda behind the selection. There may very well be some level of internal involvement that should be cause for concern for all individuals who have an account with that bank. But we haven't heard from the bank yet as to any sort of investigation internally. The criminal might not be a mastermind for sure with all of the information he left and all of those breadcrumbs, but his actions caused financial harm to a really small business and left the victim worried for their personal safety given his past record. Why does it matter, right? Businesses get scammed all the time. Don't they have safety measures in place? Many of them do. But if we don't want a nation run by giant chain stores who have a monopoly on affordable pricing, we need to do our best to help out when small businesses suffer. And that's any small business, whether that's a shop, whether that's a tattoo parlor, whether that's, a little gas station set up on the corner, something, who knows? Any sort of small business, we really want to be putting our money there and helping out when these businesses get impacted. So for some stats, right, we have 2023 statistics from the Federal Trade Commission that reported that consumers themselves lost over $10 billion to fraud in 2023, which was a significant increase from the $3.3 billion reported in 2020. And this increase includes significant amounts lost to investment scams and imposter scams. Small businesses are frequent targets of these scams due to their perceived vulnerability and lower defenses compared to larger corporations. Financial strain from fraud can lead to operational challenges and, in severe cases, business closure. The Association for Financial Professionals Payments Fraud and Control Survey 2021 states that 51% of businesses indicated that after a successful fraud attempt, the organization was unable to recover funds lost. They couldn't recover from the loss. Almost 2/3 of businesses maybe recovered 25% or less, and only 1/4 recover more than 75%. So your favorite family-owned small restaurant on the corner, if it gets targeted even once and experiences a significant loss, it could decide to close for good, and this does happen quite frequently. Due to the fraudsters leaving obvious loaves of bread and not just breadcrumbs, entire loaves, names, their full legal names, we were able to quickly piece together relevant information and locate them in a timely manner. The main bad actor did end up being booked with the information included in the police report that I was able to find and put together. But we can only hope that they give him a longer sentence, and hopefully this prevents him from targeting another business, even if it's just for a little while. He's been brought in so many times. I don't know if they'll just let him back out there. Um, Small businesses in the area have to keep a lookout for this guy. But for now, they got him. So I consider it a job well done. And this next slide is just me listing some OSINT resources that I use on a regular basis. And I used all of these resources when handling the request. It's really just people search sites, public county record databases, social media sites, some advanced search parameters, and archive sites in case anything that we find on the individual was taken down and instead saved in an archive somewhere. It didn't take a lot to catch these people. All it took was some basic Googling to find out where they were located. I hope that the information can help you to start your own list of OSINT resources and maybe encourage you to help out in your community and make a positive contribution in one way or another. No matter how small you think the contribution is or how little you have to offer, I promise you can do a lot with just a little, and that little will mean everything to some people. This business owner now feels a little bit more secure. She now has a backup plan. We've talked it over. Just knowing that he's been booked brings some sort of comfort. So thank you for coming to my talk, and I hope it was an interesting little story. It was really just meant to be an explanation of what the most basic level of OSINT could do for you or do for your community. You can find sources for this talk and a way to contact me on these slides. It will be uploaded to my website, squiddle.io. If you want to give me a follow, I'm on several social media sites, and I've listed those accounts here. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability now.
Will you speak for us again next year?
Yes, of course. And I'm really honored to be invited back this year.
Awesome.
Thank you, Squiddy. We appreciate your presentations every time.
Thank you.
I have a question. When you
Yes.
go on an investigation like this, aren't you worried you might stumble upon someone who's a bit too dangerous for you, or what kind of precautions do you take?
Yeah, so that would be an example here, right? Because this guy, he's an
Yeah,
armed
he has a
criminal and he's
record.
been put away. Yeah, he has a record. So the only precautions I really take are just not putting his name or face in this talk. I would love to out him, but it wouldn't just be me that could
Mhm.
be endangered by this. It could be the business owner, right? So
Yeah,
I
of
kind
course.
of just stay in the background. We don't contact these people. We don't let them know that we found out about them. We just archive the information and send it where it needs to go so that there can be an investigation into it. We kind of work in the background.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
So as a consultant, correct?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Just an investigator. I'm not contacting these individuals myself.